2023 was what I would consider a really foundational year for Untapped. And I wanted to share a little bit about our 2023 lessons and learnings, and also what's ahead for us in 2024, because I find when you listen to other creators and entrepreneurs, you get so much wisdom from their lessons and also so much inspiration around what they're up to and what they're learning. When we learn from others, we can compress time, right? We can take what could take us 5 years and figure it out in 1 or 3 months or whatever it is. And this is what we help our students do. So I really want to share a little bit more about what we learn and then how that's kind of mapping out, where we're going in 2024 as well. So some things around in 2023. One of the biggest things, we actually shifted our entire kind of company set up from New Zealand over to Europe. This was a massive change. At many, many moments, I felt like, what have I done? I've made a mistake, starting it again at zero, which is just simply not true. And in fact, it was actually perfect. When you land in a new place, you get back to business basics, the fundamentals of how did you actually grow your business initially. But you're never coming from the same context and place. One of our biggest lessons, and something that's led to our expansion of our team, is in 2023 or last year, we really realized that we, for years, had a bunch of freelancers and contractors on, 15 hours a month here or 12 hours a week here, and all these kind of piecemeal parts to our team. And we'd always operated this way for about the 6 years, that we've been in business, and only really ever had one kind of core integrator COO full-time. And then everyone else had kind of been freelancers and part-times. Now, what this meant is that essentially I was constantly managing a lot of people that weren't fully committed, or, they were committed, but they didn't necessarily have the capacity to go all in on your business. And so when I really reviewed the mindset, okay, well, what led to this? And actually, what are we really building and what do we want to create? The biggest transformation and what's framing up where we're going in 2024 is actually realizing, okay, there's a limiting belief here that one, maybe people don't want to be all in, or maybe we can't afford to sustain salaries at, big salaries over that time, or whatever it is. What is the energetic blueprint that we're putting out when we say we just have a whole bunch of piecemeal part-timers? And there is a point in business where that is a perfect place to start. But what had actually happened is that I'd started that place years ago, 3 years ago or so, when we started hiring, but then maintained that same pattern without realizing actually it was time for an energetic upgrade. So the exciting thing last year is that when we finally landed in the European continent, resetting up the company here, I realized this whole energetic blueprint and what that was communicating to the universe, what that was communicating to myself. And actually we decided, okay, we are done with paying lots of freelancers and part-timers. We want full-time, committed team members. Now, there is such an energetic difference to someone who can go full-time, all in on the vision and mission of your company and what you're creating, and a freelancer who's managing 10 other clients. You can't expect them to operate fully, on your business because they have other clients to service. And so what we did last year and what we're continuing to do this year is only hire and have the space for our full-time team members. So last year was really exciting. We made a couple of, full-time, we made a couple of promotions and hires. So we have someone who was working with me as my EA, who was super amazing with people and customer service, got promoted into our community coordinator role. Yes, that's right. We have a full-time community coordinator who looks after our Untapped community and our clients and services them really powerfully. And what this means for me as the visionary is that I get to be freed up, not having to deal with so much client communication, whilst I'm still deeply connected to the clients and customers. I get to focus my time with them, reviewing their documents, going over strategy, doing mindset work, versus all the day-to-day administrative stuff that our community coordinator takes care of. The next hire we made was a full-time marketing manager, which was really, really exciting. We have a marketing coordinator. We've never had a person, again, we've had social media managers here, graphic designers there, copywriters there, but actually we just brought someone in. His name's Billy. He's amazing. We built the system with him, the playbooks that he's running in terms of content creation, in terms of this podcast, right? In terms of the whole blueprint, the whole repurposing system, and he manages it from A to Z. Now, the amount of time that has given Delaney, myself, and the rest of the team back is phenomenal because you have less bottlenecks because you have one person who's responsible for that whole playbook and system when it comes to content creation, long form content creation, content repurposing. and they get to have full accountability versus in the past, it was all these bottlenecks. Okay, then you review the copy, then the email person does this and social media does that. And just so many piecemeal parts when in fact having that one person fully responsible was transformational. And again, gave me more energetic capacity back around, okay, I don't have to manage that. In fact, I don't have to talk to every single part because this person is fully responsible. And then exciting in 2024, one of the biggest kind of new hires is that we have an operations manager coming in. So an operations manager, depending on where you're at in your business, is such an incredible hire. There's different phrases you can use here. You can call them an integrator. If it's maybe just you in the business, an integrator is a person who sits under the visionary with the visionary and helps them integrate all their ideas and vision. For us, we went through this process talking about, okay, who's our next hire when we're making our roadmap, when we're looking at our goals, what do we need? And Delaney and I became very clear that we wanted that creative capacity back. So last year we were doing a lot of hiring, a lot of recruitment, a lot of onboarding, a lot of training of the team. And we actually decided, you know what, we want to be back in our creative capacity. And we did our own process that we get our students to do. We did an energy audit around what are we spending time on that's draining our energy or losing our creative freedom. That became very clear that it was more not necessarily people development, but people management, project management skills that neither of us are that strong at, right? Because we're both at our core, whilst we have some elements of integrator, we're both really visionary. So this year we have just hired a full-time operations manager to support us to help bring these projects forward to life, to help manage the day-to-day operations of the company and the team so that we can be freed up and be in that creative visionary element. Now, I know not everyone, depends what stage in business you're at in terms of if that's a relevant hire for you, but initially if you're just a solopreneur, in the beginning, you kind of are the integrator, the visionary, the ops person. You have to learn how to create those systems and things in your business for yourself until your revenue gets to a point where you can hire someone. But an operations manager, an integrator, these are fantastic hires. And then, as you scale and grow, this person could be called head of operations, or even a COO level when you have a bigger company where they're helping you with strategy. But we're really excited about this because what that means for us is that we actually get to expand and, really focus on that visionary element. Now, if you want to learn more about this kind of distinction of the visionary versus the integrator, I recommend you read the book Rocket Fuel. There's also an assessment or a quiz that you can do. I'll put the links in the show notes where you can really figure out how much of the visionary and how much of the integrator that you have. And you can know and really hire around that. So interesting with Delaney and I run the company together. And so interestingly for us, we have like 50% visionary, 50% integrator, and we can kind of dance between them. But when we really talked about what we want this year to be, 2024 to be, it was to be back in that more creative expression. And so we're bringing in the support that we need because we know how fundamental the day-to-day operations and the systems and the playbooks are, right? And so we hire that so that frees up our time again. A pivotal book that we read in 2023 is Buy Back Your Time by Dan Martell. Again, I'll put the link in the show notes. And this was just really transformative around, okay, well, how about you stop trying to hire people to grow your business? Because as the entrepreneur and the creator, you actually know how you want to grow your business. And how about you actually hire people to do the heavy lifting of the business? Now, this was transformational for us because we actually got an insight when we were listening to this audiobook and reading this book that we had been outsourcing our power. We had been hiring really expensive consultants, right? And I'm not talking about coaches and mentors. That's a little bit different. I'm talking about growth strategists and, really expensive sales operations consultants. All these people are meant to grow our business, these high consultant fees. When really we knew what we wanted to do to grow our business. What we needed was actually team members to help run the playbooks, which we have the full Untapped operating system blueprint and SOP manual. We needed the team to help run those systems, right? Versus paying these really high overheads to consultants. So it was a reestablishing of our power as leaders and really trusting ourselves as well. And a huge thing, in terms of what will we do with this creative energy? Well, we've still got our amazing programs that we're running, the Incubator, Accelerator, and Mastery. We're really supporting our students through that in such a deep way. Just watching a case study from one of our students, and she said, unparalleled levels of support that I've never experienced anywhere else. And that is what we want to be able to bring to our students, is that real feeling of like, we've got you and we're supporting you. In terms of what else we're creating this year, we're starting our journeys as authors and writing books. And I'm really excited about this. Of course, it started with one book idea. Now it's like 4 book ideas, but I'm super excited about this process and this elevation of documenting thought leadership. And I've been really grateful to be surrounded by people in Europe who have done this, and friends, and they're making it seem very easy or very doable, which is really exciting. Depending on where you are in your journey, maybe you don't feel ready to write a book, and that's absolutely fine. But something to consider is, are you documenting your thought leadership in a long form content way? Like, do you have a blog or a YouTube channel or a podcast? Because one of my greatest successes or achievements, or like really I'm grateful I made this decision, was to start the Untapped podcast, because it's this huge resource hub of wisdom and thought leadership digested into long form content that can obviously be cut up into short form stuff, but actually it's this resource hub. So in 2024, we're looking to start writing our books and documenting different parts of our journeys for conscious entrepreneurs around wealth, working with your partner, right? Coming back to your true self, running a business from an energetically aligned place. And this in 2023, I had the opportunity to speak in some rooms and to be speaking and running workshops at events with entrepreneurs live in real life. And for me, that was just a total joy, an absolute incredible energy buzz, and reminded me of one of, my really unique gifts. And Delaney and I together, when we were in New Zealand, one of the last things we did is run this amazing Untapped immersive event in Wanaka, New Zealand. And it was just incredible. And when we went home recently, people came up and said, oh, that event or this distinction on leadership like transformed my life. And now this is what I'm doing and this is what I'm up to. And so we just got fully reactivated to the power of these live in-person events and our gifts facilitating them, and the profound impact they make in our communities' lives and world. And there's, something incredible about online programs as well, is that you can access them from anywhere. They're really accessible. They can take to a transformation over time. But there is something to be said for these live events. And in a post-COVID world, I think people are really craving that energy. So we are bringing these back. We used to do them years ago, but we're very excited to be hosting them here in Lisbon, in Portugal, possibly London. Really, these events for the new age, the new era entrepreneurs, the ones who want to build conscious wealth and build businesses that don't burn them out, and also acknowledge the depth of alignment and what they have on their heart to share. We want to support these entrepreneurs to build the body, to build the mindset, to build the systems for the business they know that they're worthy of. At these events, there's somatic work and transformations that are difficult to translate to online. So that is going to be a profound experience that we're really excited to bring. So really this year, it feels 2023 felt like such a foundational year. So many systems, so many processes, so many new hires back in the operational element. And what we've done is put all those foundations in to now have a year of expansion, a year of creativity. And I think that's a really important point to make, is that no matter business goes through seasons, no year is ever the same. And maybe last year you had a flat year, or you had a growth year, or you had a profit year, or a foundational year like us. The dance now is balancing more routine and operational elements of the business to creative expression. Right? And that's always that duality of the masculine energy of the riverbanks and the systems and the structures, and then the creative force and energy of expression and creation and birthing things into the world. And so your business always is a duality of both of those. And I think some of us can be prone to going one way or the other. Some people far too systematic, too intellectualized. An intellectual business is a great business that has systems and processes and method. Some people far too creative, far too much expression. And so I'm really excited because over the 6 or 7 years of Untapped, I've danced in all of those realms. And this year it really feels like it gets to be this beautiful integration of both energies and elements. One thing to remember is that your business only expands to the level and expansion that you do. And so for me personally, there was definitely a whole journey, probably the last 18 months of my feminine expression and getting back into my body and really dealing with the addictions to burnout and chaos and operating that way and having to deal with those at a nervous system regulation level to be able to build a business that is truly expansive and that it's okay, that actually we work less, because there was a lot of healing that had to happen around overworking and burning out, but actually stripping away to, okay, we're going to work less, but we're going to be focused. I'm very excited, to continue to build the community. Last year, we got an office and, depending on if you work from home or wherever you work from, I would highly recommend considering a dedicated workspace. And the time that we got our Untapped HQ in our dedicated office, this is mine, Dee's got his. We've got a big, beautiful terrace where we host Untapped co-working on a Friday where no one does any actual working. But in the time that we committed to that office, we came off the back of an entrepreneur's event. And within the 3 months of committing to it, we had tripled our revenue because we had found that place, this environment is really expansive and creative and really like alive. It has a beautiful energy. It has a big terrace and the sun and a pool and all this magical stuff. And it provides this consistent routine and safe space to just rock up every morning and create from. And so we really invested last year in building an environment, and we have visions of, new HQs and things that we want to build and create. And it was really beautiful to be able to open our doors each Friday and bring in our clients, new people to our Untapped community, friends, other thought leaders, and really create a vibe and a place for people to connect. And it was just so beautiful hearing what happened from that space, people making friends, people doing business deals, really people landing into Lisbon and being like, oh, you should come along to this. So we are going to continue that because the future is community. Solopreneurship is such a lie. It's total bullshit. It's a hard graft out there. And something that Dee and I are profoundly committed to is having people experience community, having people feel what it feels like to be truly supported. So we will continue that and amplify that with our live events, which is going to be really exciting. Those are some of the big lessons and insights. And I think hiring full-time team members, making sure the operations and systems of your business are sorted so that you can stay in that creative expression as well, documenting your journey through long-form content and creating assets, like future assets, and allocating that time, not just for my own self-care and my own personal well-being, but also to focus on the things that matter and to build long-term asset. That's really what this year is about, is that all those foundations have been put in through a lot of effort and a lot of hard work and a lot of challenges and a lot of mistakes in the past year. And also now you just get to reap the benefits and enjoy it and be back in that creative flow. So what does your business need from you this year? Because your business is a separate entity to you. Whilst a lot of thought leaders and stuff think, oh, my business is me. Well, actually, no. If you're building a team, if you're building a mission, if you're building an impact, it's something that exists far beyond you. It might be an extension of you, but it's an entity beyond you. If you want to log into the Untapped app, you can just go create a login there, Untapped HQ, download the app. There's actually a guided visualization around connecting with your business entity in the app that you can do. It's a really beautiful process just to allow yourself to tune into what it is maybe your business is asking of you or communicating to you, because the reality is, as an entrepreneur, to create something unique and something distinct and a new year that is going to require new versions of you, new mindsets, new energetic body imprints, new belief systems. And so we need to get quiet enough to listen to ourselves, listen to our soul, listen to our business, look at our numbers, and get honest about what it is that we're creating in the year ahead. So I'm wishing you all the best for a powerful, powerful year. I would love to hear, message us on Instagram if you have any questions about our lessons or what we're focusing on. Otherwise, all the links to everything I've mentioned are in the show notes.